subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. The only channel that when the majority of the British media were panicking was telling us to hold tight with Amrabat news was this channel. The guy that knew majority of the transfers Manchester United were doing was interviewed on this channel. So smash a like for Mick, smash a like, the real journalism that's done here, the real interviews that are done here. So make sure...
I want to bring this to the agenda today, like, you know, because we got to talk about the anti-media agenda, right? So, Nuradin, you and me and Alice has been very, very consistent in certain ways. And, you know, I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of this person in general. You know, we got to call people that are anti-United journalists, right? So I know, Nuradin, that you have a lot of things to say about him. But, you know, I'm just going out of multiple tweets that, you know, about the gash, about the gossip reporting, instead of doing the proper journalist, and you claim to be a Manchester United supporter. I kind of feel that these journalists are there like as a planted mold to divide and conquer, you know, even in Sky Sports, BT Sports, everyone that's talking. They're getting paid by editorials to talk shit. But we got to stop this thing. Like, you know, I think that Manchester United fans are waking up to this. I mean, there's a tweet here saying players feel that Ten Hag's approach does not suit his skills, and hence they favor more pragmatic approach against Liverpool. Samuel Locker's blah, 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 blah. Right? Talk to me, Nura. Like, you know.
What can I say? So basically, what I would say is that this guy that you put on Samuel Lockers, he is a vulture, just like the Glazers. A majority of the media vulture of Manchester United. Whether Manchester United are struggling like we have been for the past decade, and whether we're winning titles, they vulture of the football club. They make names, they make money from Manchester United. Manchester United is headline news. You would never in your life ever think Manchester United are both in headline news, global football media, when we got the Man City who've just done a treble. Like, you would never in your life think that those two clubs are in the same city. When you've got City doing a treble, right? Historic treble for them, and a Manchester United. So at the end of the day, they literally contribute to the circus. They're part of the propaganda machine that the Glazers and the bankers have set up. They're part of that, and they will throw anybody under the bus. And then we have owners who basically believe, like most modern capitalists, they believe the idea that there's no such thing as bad PR. All PR is good. About 10, I think the idea developed about 10, 15 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And it basically went where PR, right, if it's bad, it's still good because eyes on the prize. And we've got a CEO, his name is Richard Arnold, and he's on record talking about how Manchester United interactions in the social media and why the idea that us being linked to every player is good. So I believe this is the club generated. The club win this, they win. They win either way because Manchester United's name is trending. Manchester United, and everybody clickbaits the fan base about this story, that story. And that newspaper, actually, the Manchester Evening News, used to be a very reputable newspaper back in the day. Really good. It was one of the only news sources before social media, people. Yes, there was time before mobile phones and social media.
Yes.
They used to happen. You used to have old school phones where you used to put your finger around the numbers and people used to call them. This is what used to happen. And football wasn't live. Every game wasn't live on TV. You had to actually go to the stadiums and watch games. This time existed to the FIFA generation. So that newspaper was good. Used to have fantastic reporters, fantastic insight into Manchester United. Now, this is part of modern journalism. It's about being sonographers and clickbaiters than anybody else. And then he has the audacity to look down on YouTubers. All of the media literally are on social media. They sometimes write articles about anybody's tweets. That is what the modern media is. So he's part of it. is part of the circus. We are run by people who are in charge of the circus. They're not even in charge. It's a free-for-all. We are managed by people like Richard Arnold, and we've got a special propagandist called Neil Ashton. I didn't want to know about all this. I used to just go to the games, and I used to get frustrated about the results. I had to go and do all this research myself. I had to educate myself who the Bristol bankers were, who Matt Judge was, Richard Arnold, who he has been pointed out before, referring to the Islamic and Arabic wear of headdress.
With a tea towel.
To referring to that as a tea towel. He's been done before, where he referred to mixed heritage and black players as exotic, like they're plants or like some animals, some pet, some bird. This is the type of level of person who he is, and he gets called out for it. So in terms of him being credibility, I was one of the first, Mick, to call him out.
Yeah, you did.
It was refreshing to see him trending and fans not buying his BS, because he's got no contact. He knows nothing, but he pretends, because modern media is about the clicks. That is all it is. It's not about having investigative journalists doing thorough stories. It's about clicks.
I got two, actually. I mean, I'm going to respond to you to say that, you know, it comes down to our YouTubers are actually better journalists, because Alice, you, me, we do all the research and we do report it on daily basis, while other journalists are just rehashing, using AI, ChatGPT AI to generate the same story, but they just put the headlines up to bait you in a way. But I have two other respected journalists also. Like, I know Kojo used to be on Talk Sport talking there as well. I know Stu, you also work in the media sector, like, but in a different racing capacity. Can you can you guys share the experience? I mean, has journalism gone tits up nowadays? Is it just total BS at the moment, or is it all about listen to what the chief and editor is saying for you? Oh, Scholesy, how are you doing? Scholes is in the house. Just to repeat the question, I mean, do you do everything that the chief and editor is saying? Like, talk about this, talk about that. He's shit. He's that for generating clicks. I go with you, Stu Wolley.
Yeah, look, journalism has gone very, very lazy. You're absolutely right about rehashing of articles. Plagiarism used to be huge back in the day. But back when I started out my journalistic career, if you even overcopied a single word or a single sentence, you can pulled up for it on a copyright issue. But today, what the likes of Custis do, and all these journalists that pretend to be linked to a club, they're not actually linked to Manchester United in that way. They're linked to a junior person within the club. And this junior person within the club, and Kojo will tell you this because it happens all the time, and it doesn't matter if it's in football or it could be in MotoGP where I work and World Supers. If they get a little snippet, just a tiny, tiny snippet of information that Ross is not going to race without his earrings, just as an example, then they start to push it. And then what they're trying to do is build their own careers within the teams, because look, I want you to come to me now because I'm in the know. Come to me, I will tell you what's going on. And they don't. Where journalism's got massively lazy is the investigation part. A lot of journalists now, Luckhurst in particular, he'll have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 runners. Kojo will know this through TalkSport. So if Kojo's been tasked with a specific story, he gets his runners or his aides or whoever, his interns who are working around him and say, right, this is what I want from you. Go away and give me the information. Now, sorry, I'm not saying you did that, Kojo. I'm just saying that's what happened as a whole. So what you should be doing, or what any credible journalist should be doing, is not double checking what they've done, but do it yourself. Do it yourself first, and then get them to come back with information, and then you can either pad or remove, depending on what information you got. But the biggest problem you've got right now, the biggest issue you've got, is social media and is Manchester United, because all you've got to do within an article, any article, put Manchester United in it, and the clickbait quadruples. It's got nothing to do with the headline or anything of that nature. It's the sheer fact of Manchester United. You know, City win the treble, and then the next day, Anthony's stories come out, hasn't it? Or a story came out on the front pages, completely overshadowed what, and whether we like it or not, because we're treble winners, an achievement City had done. It was all about Manchester United. So I'm quite sad right now to be a journalist. I'm quite sad to be labelled as a journalist because there are too many of us, and there's been too many in the past. I'm telling you now, there'll be even worse in the future that may have gone up to Bradford to journalism school, and try to learn their craft, try and craft a message of credibility that'll just get completely knocked down by the likes of Lucas. It's a shame. Sorry, Kojo, I don't know how much you agree with that or disagree with,
Yeah, I'll pass the mic to Kojo to see what you have to say.
No, I don't disagree. It's quite frustrating for me because Mick knows that for my podcast, I don't ever try to do sensationalism. My thing is comes to the real. I don't like doing rumors. I like doing what's based fact. And if it is a rumor, we speak about it in terms of if it's true or if it's not true, what can come from it. I don't buy into, and even on my Twitter, I don't buy into saying something to just get people to come talk to me about it. I don't believe in that. With somewhere like TalkSport, it's a weird one because it's quite clear when you see the clips. They get people that clearly hate Man United, like Gabriel Bon Lahore and Danny Murphy. These are not people that support Man United in the slightest.
Oh no
to
way!
come and talk about Man United affairs, and you know what reaction you're gonna get from the people that are listening, and they know that, and that's what they're in business for, and that's fine by me. I mean, I'm not gonna tell them how to run their business because it's clearly successful for them. But for someone like me, in fact, for all of us on this panel here, we do not buy into it. And just like Nuradin was saying earlier, I grew up on newspapers. So I grew up on reading
Sunday
newspapers.
paper.
And exactly,
Page
Sunday
3.
paper. Even when I was little, my dad used to take me to work with him sometimes, and I just sit there reading newspapers, looking for sports articles to see what's going on. That's how I grew up on it. And then when I saw something was actual news, that's when I would discuss it with my friends because I knew it was actually happening. I wouldn't believe a rumor. So the issue with social media now is anyone can come and say I'm a ITK I'm in the know. I know what's going on. I know this is happening. This player's going here. Like today, for example, a random person put a message out saying Sancho is late for training again. We don't know this, so I'm not going to go and tell you, oh God, here he is again. We already know he's been a bit of a naughty boy, but you don't know if that's factual, so don't buy into it. But that one person knows if I tweet that, it's the hot news. It's Man United again. Yeah, they'll grab onto it. Of course they will. And with that, sensibility is left the building. It's now just chaos, and that's what Man United is right now. I called it, me and my friends now call it the theatre of drama because there's always something going on. You've had Anthony, you've had Greenwood, you've had even when players have retired, somehow it comes back to us, and then you've got Sancho now. Ten Hag apparently is now losing the dressing room because some players are not happy about it. It will never end. It will never end. So I'm with you 100%, Stu. It's ridiculous, but you're right. It is going to get worse across all levels.
I'm just when I went to university, my guy from a professor when I studied media and journalism as well. I do respect because we got taught the art of professional journalism to do the hard grafting, do the research, always following the trails. But look at two sides of a story, right? Don't go like one-sided, like it's, because the story is like a motor highway. It has 2 lanes, right? True. And always present those facts. And at the end of the day, you present it to the viewer or to the reader and let them decide. The truth is their truth, right? You're not there to tell them the truth. But unfortunately, we're living in a kind of society where if we challenge this truth, if we challenge these journalists on Twitter, we get blocked, we get cancelled, right? Yeah. You remember Miguel Delaney, he had a full-time job just cancelling Manchester United fans, but we called him out, right? And same thing, same pressure needs to apply for every single journalist that writing clickbait shit about our club. One journalist that I really respect is David Ornstein, to be honest, right? He doesn't write gash. He only, when he knows, he tweets. He doesn't tweet constantly, right?
Yeah.
But when he said something, then he's done the proper journalist, checked this side of the story, checked that on the story, because he doesn't want to be clipped. That's the thing, right? But what I see here, you have a lot of echo chambers. You see a lot of retweets. You see Fabrizio Romano reading other people's tweets and composing that tweets that is his. I'm just talking about Alfredo Padula that he stole the actually Amrabat story about as well, because he was first to break it. And then everyone gave, here we go, his roses as well. And then it comes down to the takeover as well. When you actually see reports on One Football app saying that takeover expert Ben Jacobs.
Yeah.
Since when did a sports journalist become a takeover expert? I thought you had to work for Bloomberg or Reuters to report on mergers and acquisition and Financial Times and all that stuff. So you see where this is going to, right? So the question comes down to, what do you believe and who do you believe, right? Even in ITK, what is an ITK? In the know. Then journalists is in the know as well, right? True? No, just because you happen to have a LinkedIn connection, like, with 20,000, people, and you get feed information, that makes you a better journalist than them, right?
Well, the interesting thing, Mick, about ITKs is they're always join me in an hour, breaking news in an hour. Well, a journalist with integrity never does that, Mick. He breaks the news. But you're absolutely right about how you present the story, how you structure a story, how you start with the pars and end with the pars, and that is make sure it's a double take. You always look for the positives and the negatives in any story, so that you can offer a balanced opinion. Kojo's right when he says, if we're talking about a rumor, you mention it's a rumor. We cannot corroborate this story, but this is the rumor that's out there, and we will report on this rumor, uncorroborated. And you make that very, very, very clear throughout the piece that you're writing 2 or 3 times, and you end it again. This story is uncorroborated, but we are reporting what we've heard, and that's fine, and that allows you to keep your integrity. But journalistic integrity now has gone completely out the window. Nobody cares about it, because how many followers have I got? That's all I'm interested in on my Twitter. How many followers have I got? What's my TikToks bringing? And this is where you're right about Fabrizio Romano. He's dumbed into this way of getting information out there, whether he's connected or not. But everybody looks for a here we go. Everybody gets.
You built an empire regarding this. You become the standard. Yeah. I don't believe it until Fabrizio Romano says it. That's
exactly
kind of become,
right.
And I don't believe about the takeover news until Fabrizio Romano breaks it. Like, hang on a second. Since when did these journalists become like takeover experts? And then you try to downplay like Armban Sen and all them, David Hellier, Bloombergs and Reuters. They have no dog in the fight. All they do is to speak to, the big organizations that are doing mergers and acquisitions. They speak to the bankers, the lawyers, and everyone else. As soon as they put out something, they are jumping on them. They're killing each other. They're creating a media war, because at the end of the day, we want to be first. We want to keep this gravy train rolling, right? But rest assured, Nuradin, right? As soon as we get new ownership, that gravy train is gone. Whoever's leaking that information. Whoever's leaking that information. I mean, think about it. There's a lot of people that sit in there uncertain about the job, and they know as soon as they come in new ownership, they're going to lose their jobs. We have a certain fake football director. I rest assured that he's trying to get the manager under the bus, is leaking information as well, right? 100%, because he's very incompetent, right? We've seen it numerous times again. Even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer exposed how bad they are. He handed in his transfer list, like, this is what I want. It's like you ordering a Big Mac, like, a super size, and they deliver you a Happy Meal with a little toy. Are you happy? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Manchester United is a circus, and
it's just to mask your incompetence, so you leak out the story to blame it on somebody else. It's clear and obvious, mate.
And the biggest thing was what one thing we can never go at the fan base and 100%, but I thought majority of the fan base really saw them for what they were. Like what Samuel Lucas reporting, all these other leaks. most of the majority of the fan base, because they want to throw another manager under the bus, and they think removing yet another manager is going to solve this. It's not going to be solved until the toxic owners, the people who set the environment, the culture, the agenda for Manchester United, until they're gone, we're not gonna be any better, because this is it. It's too many people, and the owners don't live here. They put a banker in charge, and I'm sorry, so I've got nothing against. Well, I've got a lot of things against modern bankers, but this banker does not know what he's doing. And then you've got people who are propping the glazer with this so-called football structure that his name is Murta, and he's only there by name. He doesn't actually do anything.
No.
He's there by name. There's no result. And then you even got the chief negotiator, articles being written about him, about how good he is and how he's a reset. Manchester United model, when Fergie was here, and that's why Fergie, we call it Glazonomics now, but Fergie used to call it no value in the market. And then they came out with all this FFP when they've sold over 50 million in terms of youth players this summer. And they're still, I mean, big up Flex. I got nothing but love for Flex. But he goes on Sky Sports. Manchester United have got an agreement with Sky Sports that they have to repeat talking points from the club in terms of FFP. When he goes on his own channel, he doesn't talk that same way as he talks when he's on Sky Sports, because there you have to say the same thing. And I remembered when the media let it be known, they were like, Manchester United is done by FFP. Remember that title, headline? We were done. It happens all across world football on a technicality, on a wording. That's what we got done for. We got found for a wording and an administration error, but they were queuing the fan base up for FFP. Ooh, FFP. But, you know, Glazonomics is the way it is. And at the end of the day, these journalists, they're all in on it. And like you said, we've demonstrated it. Everybody can see. They can see who's treating who. And now it's even got to that ridiculous. You've got a FIFA generation kid pretending that he played a computer game with Jadon Sancho, and he's telling Jadon Sancho to go to bed. I mean, it's the most laughable thing. And actually, media organizations are picking that up and going, oh yeah, he's been playing FIFA all night and all this. At the end of the day, I just see it. There is nobody to take control of this football club. We've got toxic owners, toxic football structure they set up, and every manager and majority of the players are not supported. I repeat, majority of you fans, you need to keep your eyes on the prize. It's never the one player, manager, or the coaching team. I've learned the hard way. I lost my hair because of Jose, because of that football I was not accepting. I was brought up under a certain standard in Manchester United. Even if you go back as far as the history of the Industrial Revolution, Manchester United came out of that. It came out of railway workers, Newton Heath, green and gold, what I'm wearing now. Before Norwich existed, those of you who are sarcastic going, oh yeah, Norwich scarves. Norwich were not even a football club before Manchester United were wearing green and gold. So just to put it into context, Manchester United was set up by hard-working workers to play something that they couldn't do themselves, to see attractive, entertaining football. We've been deprived of that for a decade, and no manager can succeed. And it really makes me laugh when people think we just swapped Ten Hag for Disebri, we swapped Ten Hag for Ange at Spurs, and it's going to go. No, the environment is not there. You're not there to thrive. You're there to get top four. The aim, the goal is there. And the whole media apparatus and everything that goes with it is there to prop that top four, and they'll tell you anything.
That's the whole apparatus. That's the whole apparatus.
But guys, listen.
It's not about
Mick,
winning.
I'm going to have to go, mate. Mick, I'm going to have to go because I'm really hungry. I'm really hungry.
Okay, man. Just before you go, just a final thing. You mentioned a very good point regarding flex and everything. Before you go, even our fan camps are getting invited to ask questions, and I applaud that, right? Because they actually ask really good footballing questions to Erik ten Hag, while the other are asking gossip gash questions. Like, big up to you, Nuradin. Big up to your cat as well. Smash a like for Nuradin. Go and
listen. Big up. Honestly, I'm not being on channel. I hopefully return with Jarvis and everybody else. So big up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. The only channel that, when the majority of the British media were panicking, was telling us to hold tight with Amrabat news, was this channel. The guy that knew majority of the transfers Manchester United were doing was interviewed on this channel. So smash a like for Mick, smash a like, the real journalism that's done here, the real interviews that are done here. So make sure and you subscribe to the channel. Big up. I've had a really long day, guys. I'm starving like Marvin.
Before you go, I want to return the favor. Go for people that haven't gone to Nuradin's channel. Tell where people can subscribe.
It's there. If you just minus that chat there, is there. United Real Therapy, Mr. Structure on YouTube. Sorry, Mr. Structure on Twitter. United Real Therapy. There, we're passionate. We're raw. That's what we are. We're very emotional. My channel is if you're not here for emotional, raw opinion, then I don't clickbait fans. I talk about the substantive issues and the issues that affect Manchester United as a football club. I'm not about whatever followers or anything like that. I'm about just community of fans coming together and being frustrated. And it's a therapy channel. So on there, we speak the truth. Our depression, where we are, that's what we speak about.
Just before you go, mate, just before you go, Paul,
final score prediction as well.
Yeah, I want to bring up your flex point because I thought you're absolutely spot on. I've got a lot of love for Flex as well. I've got no problem with him going on Sky Sports and representing Manchester United. But you're absolutely right about the twist and the narrative he has to follow. It's not something that I could do as a journalist. It isn't something I could. I'm not having to go at anybody here. But I thought it was a really good point that you made, and I don't think many people understood and understand that side of it. But for me, it's not something I could do. But I appreciate your point.
All right.
Score prediction. I'll be at the game tomorrow. I'm not a big fan of the Europa League or the League Cup. I'm not. I used to like going to Europa League games back in the day under Fergie because I knew that it's our the youth talent. We used to be like, oh, they're gonna play, they're gonna get start. But I'll be there tomorrow with Sol. I don't know what team he picks, but I really hope that he rotates. I hope that we're getting some players back from injury. I really hope that we're getting some injuries back. That's the only big thing that's concerning me. We've had a really big World Cup year last season. He played the majority of the squad to death, and now we're suffering an injury. I know other clubs are suffering injury, but I think Ten Hag needs the grace. I think Ten Hag can be criticised. You can scrutinise his decision making, his in-game and his lineups, but there's a big difference between scrutinising and moaning about a manager, tactics and in-game management, than being a manager out. Being a manager out is never going to fix this football club. What's going to fix this football is getting rid of the vultures. The vultures and their cronies that they've got in charge. So keep your eyes on the prize, people. And that's the message. And the message is clear. Big up, Jojo. Congratulations on a newborn, brother. Stuart, always a pleasure.
Yeah,
big up, brother.
Any chance to see Scholesy playing tomorrow? 4-footed.
Scholesy, can he play tomorrow? Nah,
he's 4-footed, right?
Hey, he's like, you know what he's like? I don't recognize that club anymore.
Big up, Nuradin. Thank you for coming in.
Scholesy saying, I'm not coming out of retirement for a second time.
Listen, big up for coming in. Big up for your big words. It was always a pleasure. Looking forward to jump on your channel. What do you say? Love and light.
Always. Win, lose or draw. Bank us out, glaze us out. Love and light to everybody. Take care.
Absolutely.
Cheers, brother. Thank you. Big words from a big man. Thank you so much. Go check out his channel as well.
That's all, folks.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.